Good afternoon. The point is microwave linear beam tube, we can say O type tube. So linear beam tubes, these are O type tubes. Its classification is given here: cavity and slow wave structure. In cavity it is resonant klystron and reflex klystron, and in slow wave it consists of forward wave, backward wave. In forward it is helix TWT, and in backward it is BW or PWO. So we will see the construction, and we will see the two cavity klystron. So here we will see the construction, its working principle of two cavity klystron and its structure also. So diagram for the two cavity, schematic diagram of two cavity klystron amplifier is given here. So the two cavity klystron is widely used in a microwave amplifier operated by the principles of velocity and current modulation. So all the electrons injected from the cathode arrive at the first cavity with uniform velocity. Before going to this working principle, a two cavity klystron is generally a velocity modulated tube. Here it can be observed, we can observe that the high velocity electron beam is formed, focused and sent down along a glass tube to a collector electrode, or we can say anode, through an input cavity. So field free drift space and an output cavity. The collector electrode or anode is at positive potential with respect to cathode, and the electron beam passes through a gap. Electron beam passes through a gap A, which consists of two grids of input cavity, and it is separated by a small distance, and two other grids of the output cavity with a small gap B. So with the help of coupling loops, the input and output are taken from the tube through the resonant cavities, and to excite the input cavity, the RF signal is used and alternate voltage of the signal frequency is developed across the gap. Now all the electrons injected from the cathode arrive at first cavity with uniform velocity, and those electrons passing the first cavity gap at zeros of the gap voltage, or we can say a signal voltage, and it pass through with unchanged velocity. Those passing through the positive half cycle of the gap velocity undergo an increase in velocity, and those passing through the negative swings of the gap voltage undergo a decrease in velocity. As a result of this action, the electrons gradually bunch together as they travel down the drift space. The variation in electron velocity in the drift space is known as a velocity modulation, and the density of the electrons in the second cavity gap varies cyclically with time. The electron beam contains an AC component, and it is said to be a current modulated. Actually, the two cavity klystron consist of cathode anode configuration, that is electron gun, to produce an accelerated electron beam. A buncher, we can say it as a input cavity, also a catcher, we can say output cavity, and a filled free drip space between the two input and output cavities. A pair of buncher grid, that is the first gap. Pair of catcher grid, it is the second gap. Collector, and there is an input coupling loop in buncher cavity and output coupling loop in catcher cavity. Whole assembly is in vacuum envelope with a vacuum sealed coaxial fittings for external connection. In addition, there may be applied DC magnetic field that is parallel to the beam to reduce spreading of the beam as it propagates from the source to the collector. The diagram is shown here. So its operation, the accelerated electron beam passes through a gap in the anode into a region between a pair of closely spaced buncher grids. We can say a first gap across which an RF voltage exists, then into a drip space, and then through another pair of catcher grid, that is second gap to the collector. The buncher or input cavity is kept generally at the same DC potential as the anode, and the electrons emerging from the buncher grid gap 1 are velocity modulated due to presence of RF voltage and conversion of velocity modulated electrons into density modulation. While drifting, the drift region is affected and it is called drift space bunching. It is clear that the electrons that leave the first gap with higher velocity catch up with those left earlier with slower velocity and thus forming the bunch, and this phenomenon commonly known as a bunching. It is the result of velocity modulation which is produced at the first gap. When these bunches enter the second gap, or we can say catcher grid, during the retarding phase of RF field of the catcher resonator, then most of the electrons lose their kinetic energy in crossing the second gap to RF field of the catcher resonator. That is, RF input to the first resonator is amplified at catcher cavity. Both the cavities are identical and are tuned to the natural frequency of the cavities, which is also the frequency of input signal. Finally, emerging electrons with reduced velocity from the second gap are collected by the collector. The two cavity klystron is capable of operation to frequencies in the excess of 100 GHz. As an amplifier, it offers pulses and CW power with medium bandwidth and high gain when the sufficient energy is fed back from the catcher to the buncher in proper phase, and if the loop gain has a magnitude of unity with a phase shift of multiple of 2 pi, and it is a double resonator klystron oscillator. So the maximum bunching should occur approximately midway between the second cavity grid during its retarding phase. Thus the kinetic energy is transformed from the electrons to the field of the second cavity. The electrons then emerge from the second cavity with reduced velocity and finally terminate at the collector. Now the characteristics of the two cavity klystron amplifier are its efficiency is about 40%. Power output is, its average power is up to 500 kilowatt and burst power is up to 30 megawatt at 10 gigahertz. Power gain is about 30 dB. The quantitative analysis of two-cavity klystron can be described in the four parts. The one is the electron beam is assumed to have a uniform density in cross section of the beam. The space charge effect are negligible. The magnitude of the microwave signal input is assumed to be much smaller than the DC accelerating voltage. So the one is the electron beam is assumed to have uniform density in cross section of the beam. Space charge effect are negligible. The magnitude of the microwave signal input is assumed to be much smaller than the DC accelerating voltage. Here the electric field across the gap at this instant is zero, where an electron that passes through gap A is unaffected by RF signal. This electron can be called as a reference electron that travel with an unchanged velocity. So here V is anode to cathode voltage. So on RF cycle at point C, an electron which leaves the gap, gap lighter than the electron, also known as a late electron, and it is subjected to maximum positive RF voltage. Therefore, it travels towards the gap B with an increased velocity, and this acceleration tries to overtake the reference electron. Similarly, an early electron which passes the gap A slightly before the reference electron ER, it is subjected to a maximum negative field. Therefore, this early electron is deaccelerated and travelled with a decreased velocity V0. This electron E is left behind and the reference electron ER catches up with early electron. So the velocity of electron changes according to the RF input voltage, which results in a velocity modulation of the electron. Because of this action, the electrons in the bunching limit as the electron in the bunching limit between the CR bunched together, they travel the drift space from the gap. The pulsating stream of the electrons pass via gap E. The oscillations are excited in the output cavity, and the velocity of an electron passes through gap B varies cyclically with time. It means the electron beam consists of AC current and is current modulated. The velocity modulation is converted into a current modulation by a drift space. So bonding takes place only once per cycle, centered among the reference electron. By desiring a small RF power given to a buncher cavity results in a large beam current at the output cavity with a considerable amount of power gain. So the performance characteristics are output power, or you can say power output. Average power is 10 kilowatt to 50 kilowatt and pulsed power is 30 megawatt. Frequency is 250 megahertz to 100 gigahertz. Efficiency about 40%. Power gain is about 60 dB. Power gain about 60 dB, noise figure about 15 to 20 dB, bandwidth 10 to 60 megahertz, normally used in fixed frequency application. So what is the velocity modulation process in two cavity klystron amplifier? Now here we consider V0 is the velocity of electron and V0 be the DC voltage between the cathode and anode. When the high DC voltage V0 accelerate the electrons before entering the buncher grid, their velocity V0 is uniform. When microwave signal is given to the input terminal, the gap voltage between the buncher grid is given as Vs equal to V1 sin omega t, and V1 is the amplitude of the signal and V1 is less than V0. Now, what are the applications of two cavity klystron? It can be used as a power oscillator, it can be used as an output tube, in radar transmitter, in UHF TV transmitter, in satellite communication ground stations, in troposphere scatter transmitter. So these are the application of two cavity klystron. Next is reflex klystron. So two cavity klystron works on the single frequency. If frequency to be varied, then both the cavity resonators should be tuned separately or replaced if the frequency range of cavity resonator is limited and frequencies outside the resonator range are needed. The reflex klystron is a single cavity klystron which eliminates the disadvantage of two cavity klystron. The reflex klystron is low power generator of about 10 to 500 megawatt output at a frequency range of 1 to 25 gigahertz. If a fraction of the output power is fed back to the input cavity and if the loop gain has a magnitude unity with a phase shift of multiple 27t, the klystron will oscillate. However, a two-cavity klystron oscillator is usually not constructed because when oscillation frequency is varied, the resonant frequency of each cavity and the feedback path phase shift must be readjusted for a positive feedback. The reflex klystron is a single cavity klystron that overcome the disadvantage of two cavity klystron oscillator. So they are widely used in the applications such as portable microwave link in radar receivers, pump oscillators in parametric amplifier, signal source in microwave generator of variable frequency, local oscillator in microwave receiver. Now, the construction of the it consists of electron gun, a filament which is surrounded by a cathode and focusing electrode at a cathode potential. The reflex klystron are used to produce a microwave energy and these are based on velocity modulation. It consists of repelled plate called a repeller instead of output cavity which is used in other types of klystron. The electron beam is modulated by passing it through an oscillating resonant cavity. The feedback needed to maintain the oscillations within the cavity is obtained by reversing the beam and sending it back through the cavity. The electron in the beam are velocity modulated before passing the beam second time through the cavity and give up the energy needed to maintain the oscillations. So the negatively charged electrode which repels the beam turn around the electron beam and this negative element is the repeller. This type of klystron oscillator is known as a reflex klystron because of the reflex action of the electron beam. Next is crossed field tubes, that is M type. In linear beam, the tubes like klystron or traveling wave tube, the DC magnetic field parallel to the DC electric field is used to focus the electron beam. The crossed field tubes derive their name from the fact that the DC magnetic field is perpendicular to the DC electric field. In this tube, the DC magnetic field plays a direct role in the RF interaction process and these tubes are called as M-type tube. In crossed field tube, the electron emitted by the cathode are accelerated by the electric field and gain velocity, but the greater the velocity, the more their path is bent by the magnetic field. Now in crossed field tube, the electrons emitted by the cathode are accelerated by the electric field and gain velocity, but greater their velocity, the more their path is bent by the magnetic field. If an RF field is applied to the circuit, those electrons if RF field is applied to the circuit, those electrons entering the circuit during the retarding field are deaccelerated and give up some of their kinetic energy to the RF field. So their velocity is decreased and the slower electrons will then travel the DC electric field far enough to regain essentially the same velocity as before. And because of the crossed field interactions, only those electrons that have given up sufficient energy to the RF field can travel all the way to the anode, and this phenomenon would make the M-type device relatively efficient. Now this diagram shows the here is the classification of crossed field tubes. The magnetron the crossed field tubes, it consists of resonant, non-resonant, uh, message. So in resonant there is a standing wave, in non-resonant there are forward and backward wave. So magnetron oscillator, the Hall invented the magnetron, but it was only an interesting laboratory device. So during the Second World War, an urgent need for the high power microwave generator for radar transmitter led to the rapid development of magnetron. It provided microwave oscillations of very high frequency. All magnetron consist of some form of anode and cathode operated in DC magnetic field between cathode and anode. Because of the cross field between the cathode and anode, the electron emitted from the cathode are influenced by the cross field to move in a curved path. If DC magnetic field is strong enough, the electron will not arrive at in the anode but return to the cathode. Consequently, anode current is cut off. Now, magnetrons are classified into three types, that is negative resistance, cyclone cyclotron frequency magnetrons, and cavity or traveling wave magnetrons. So negative means make the use of static negative resistance between two anode segments, low efficiency and are useful only at low frequency. The cyclone frequency magnetron, the operator under the influence of synchronism between an alternating component of electric field and periodic oscillations of electrons in a direction parallel to the field. It is useful only for the frequencies greater than 100 MHz. Now it depends upon the cavity or traveling wave magnetron depends upon the interaction of the electron with a traveling electromagnetic field of linear velocity. These are customarily referred as a magnetron, and it provides oscillations of very high peak power and hence are useful in radar application. Then cylindrical magnetron oscillator are also called as conventional magnetron. In cylindrical, several cavities are connected. Several return cavities are connected to the gaps and hence sometimes called cavity magnetron. Here the detailed diagram of the cavity magnetron is shown. It consists of cooling fan, ceramic magnet output antenna and all. So here each cavity in the anode acts as an inductor having only one turn, and the slot connecting the cavity and the interaction space acts as a capacitor. So these two form a parallel resonant circuit, and its resonant frequency depends on the value of L of the cavity and the C of the slot. The frequency of the microwave generated by the magnetron oscillator depends on the frequency of the RF oscillations existing in the resonant cavities. Then magnetron is a cross field device, as the electric field between the anode and the cathode is radial, whereas the magnetic field produced by a permanent magnet is axial. A high DC potential can be applied between the cathode and anode, which produces the radial electric field. So depending on the relative strength of the electric and magnetic field, the electrons emitted from the cathode and moving towards the anode will transfer through the interaction space. The radius, this is the working principle. The magnetic field required to return the electron back to the cathode just grazing the surface of the anode is called critical magnetic field. Here the RF oscillation of the transient nature produced when the ST is switched on are sufficient to produce the oscillation in the cavities, and these oscillations are maintained in the cavities return feedback, which results in the production of microwaves. So this diagram shows the trajectory of the electron from the cathode to anode in a 8-way cavity magnet opening in pi mode. Then velocity modulation related to this. Now the velocity modulation means what? It is defined as the variation in the velocity of the beam of electron which is caused by alternate speeding up and slowing down of the electrons in the beam, and the electron beam passes through a pair of closely spaced grids which is called as buncher grids. So this diagram shows a klystron. It is a microwave vacuum tube using a cavity resonator to produce the velocity modulation of the electron beam and to produce the amplification. Input cavity, the RF energy is coupled in and electron beam is velocity modulated. Then output cavity, the RF energy is coupled through the electron beam by placing the second cavity into the proper position. Then RF interchanging with the electron beam causes the kinetic energy loss from the beam that result in gain. Now these are the diagrams. So the two cavity, it is readily turned into an oscillator klystron by providing a feedback loop between the input and output. The remaining part we will continue. The two cavity klystron oscillator concept is completed here. In the next lecture we will see the remaining part of this chapter. Thank you.